I've looked at moving because I'd like to keep more of my money too. And
where should Maher move? You know how many people moved out of your state, California?
Oh, I know.
Under Newsom?
Yeah, no. People do move. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
People move in America, and you're right.
But they're not moving because they want a better view. They like to keep more of their money that they earn.
Yeah, that's true.
Florida is a really good case study. So when DeSantis became governor, there were 250,000 more registered Democrats in Florida when he became governor 8 years ago. Now there's 1.4 million more registered Republicans in Florida. That's all migration from COVID and re-registration from COVID, 100%. Right. So it absolutely is happening.
Bill Maher is unloading on the left for what he says is the slow collapse of cities that once voted blue without hesitation. He argues the left abandoned these cities to chase the radical fringe, while everyday voters are left feeling ignored, unsafe, broke, and angry. Maher says that gamble amounts to political self-destruction and threatens the DNC's future. And if you're into sharp political commentary, hit like and let's dive in.
I read that the current mayor of Chicago has an approval rating of 6.6%.
Round it up, 7.
I mean, you were just the ambassador to Japan. If that was your approval rating in Japan, they would do on live TV.
They would do it at 27.
I mean, what's going on in Chicago?
Look, we were talking about this a little earlier. I mean, you have also the mayor of New York not doing well. Obviously, other things also here in Los Angeles not doing well, the mayor here. Look, and then you got mayors like the mayor of San Francisco and other cities that are doing well. So I would say, look, there is a general rule. I had this when I was mayor. Safe streets, strong schools, stable finances. Focus on those three things and your city's going to be fine.
Rahm Emanuel lays out why Chicago's mayor is sitting at a disastrous 6.6% approval rating. In his view, it comes down to three daily realities: public safety, financial instability, and failing schools. Residents face rising crime, budget chaos, and an education system that keeps disappointing, yet see little urgency from City Hall. Emanuel says leadership isn't about speeches or signaling, it's about fixing what's broken. Instead, people feel ignored as quality of life declines. Parents worry about schools. Workers worry about safety. Taxpayers worry about waste. The issue isn't messaging, it's priorities.
5 years where people became way too permissive of culture. They were all, which is why everything's locked up at Walgreens and CVS, and that is a disaster. Yeah. And I'll say this about our schools. I don't want to hear another word about the locker room. I don't want to hear another word about the bathroom. You better start focusing on the classroom. We had the worst reading scores for 8th graders in 30 years. And nobody, not a governor, not a mayor, not a president, not a secretary of education is talking about it. We're all wrapped up. Look, in 7th grade, if I known that I could have said the word they and got in the girls' bathroom, I would have done it. Okay, we literally are a superpower. We're facing off against China with 1.4 billion people, and 2/3 of our children can't read 8th grade level. So no more about the lot. Wait a second, I'm on a roll for a second.
This is where frustration really boils over. Public schools are clearly failing, yet instead of confronting collapsing standards and weak outcomes, the national conversation was hijacked by cultural flashpoints. While parents asked why kids couldn't read or compete, leadership chased fringe debates affecting a tiny fraction of students. The result is simple: real education was sidelined. Schools became ideological battlegrounds instead of places for learning and opportunity. Parents feel unheard, students fall behind, and trust continues to collapse. This isn't just political failure, it's generational.
To be fair, this is actually...
I was being fair.
No, this is a huge Democratic Party problem. If you look at Democratic cities, they are terribly run. They have incredibly high taxes. It is impossible to build, so the cost of housing... Let me finish. I'll give you a chance. The cost of housing is crazy in places like New York and Chicago. If you look at Democratic states, you go look at New York versus Florida, okay? Roughly the same population. The budget of New York State is twice that of Florida. What do they have? Streets paved with gold? I live in New York. I pay the highest taxes in New York. You get nothing for it. And I think that is the image people have of the Democratic Party.
Fareed Zakaria isn't wrong, and more people are admitting it. Democratic leadership appears to be running once thriving cities into the ground. Crushing taxes, heavy red tape, and worsening public safety are pushing residents out. Small businesses struggle. Families feel punished for staying. When people can't afford to live or feel safe where they work, they leave. That's why we're seeing a steady exodus from deep blue cities to places promising lower taxes, fewer hurdles, and stronger law and order. It's about quality of life, not ideology.
Lots of taxes, lots of regulation, but nothing gets done.
Hey,
and I think
I live in L.A.
Right. And I think, if the Democrats have to own this and realize the answer to everything is not more taxes, more regulation. People are fed up of that, and they feel that it isn't working.
The Democrats, look, as somebody who produced the best graduation growth in the country, and he changed our high school.
You were a good mayor. I agree.
No, that's not the point. The point was we changed, but I'll take that. The point isn't the rules. The point is the results. And the party has gotten way too focused on what the rules are. And I do agree with you on this. We have made it impossible to function as a city or as a state.
For too long, Democrats have focused on rules instead of results. Bureaucracy isn't just bloated, it's suffocating. Simple tasks drag on for months under paperwork and approvals. Small businesses feel it first, but everyone feels it. Want to build, renovate, or expand? Get ready to wait. Instead of asking what works, leadership adds more layers. The result is paralysis. Cities don't feel governed, they feel trapped. People aren't asking for chaos, they're asking for competence.
Example of this example, here obviously in LA, it took a fire and a natural disaster to make you realize, you know what, that rule's not that important. In Pennsylvania, a bridge collapse, all of a sudden we go, well, that environmental rule is just not important. We got to build a bridge. It's much more important. And I think the Democratic Party should take a look at it and say, we're going to be honest, like we did in 1994 with reinventing government. Everything is on the table. Nothing is safe. And we're just going to look at it and say, that's essential. Those two things get out of here. And that doesn't happen.
If the DNC wants to rebuild trust, it must confront overregulation head-on. Look at Los Angeles and California. Taxes are sky-high, yet residents see little in return. Projects stall, housing drags, and costs explode due to endless delays. This isn't progressive governance, it's paralysis. Voters don't want slogans. They want results. If Democrats want credibility back, they must cut red tape, move faster, and deliver outcomes.
I think that Mamdani's election will lead more financial organizations to leave New York City for Wall Street South in Florida. Tell me, I've read that term just recently, Wall Street South, Florida. This is your state. What is that?
A lot of Wall Street guys have moved to Palm Beach. It's been happening really since COVID. It's accelerated with increases in taxes. It's not just out of New York. It's New Jersey, Connecticut, it's Chicago, it's California.
So they're fleeing high tax blue states for Florida.
And none of this is surprising. High-profile individuals and major companies continue leaving states like California and New York. These aren't coincidences. They're driven by punishing taxes, stifling regulations, and declining safety. Many didn't want to leave their home states, but opportunity, affordability, and stability vanished. The exodus is a warning sign, not a talking point.
Luckiest guy in the world that Mamdani got elected because his district is going to explode. My house, I live 8 miles outside of Queens, has gone up 20% in value since Mamdani announced. Okay? Because people aren't going to pay the punishing taxes. New York is the highest tax state in the union.
But you said your house value has gone up.
Yeah, because they're moving to Nassau County.
Oh, they're moving out of the city.
Out of the city, and they can still take the train back in the city and not pay the millionaire's tax or whatever crazy thing this guy wants. But what people don't understand is he can't raise the taxes unless the state okays.
New York's political direction is already rattling residents and businesses. With Zoran Mamdani gaining traction in the mayoral race, fears are growing. His push for a millionaire's tax has alarmed investors and high earners who already carry a massive burden. Critics argue leadership is targeting a shrinking tax base instead of fixing crime, housing, and services. The fear is simple: higher taxes drive out capital, talent, and jobs.
I don't understand that. They don't know what seizing the means of production is, but Ken Griffith does. He's the big Wall Street titan. He knows what it is, and that's why he's down in Palm Beach.
We'll see if they move. I mean, you saw Bill.
They're going to move.
Well, look,
They're already moving.
Hold on, Bill Ackman.
No, they're not.
Hold on.
People say they're going to move all the time after elections.
listen.
They don't do it.
Bill Ackman said he was going to move.
You know how many people moved out of New York City in the last 3 years? 600,000. They're moving.
Yeah, they're moving.
What's baffling is how some still ignore what's happening. People are leaving blue cities in large numbers because of poor governance. This is happening right now. Celebrities, companies, and everyday families are all citing the same issues: taxes, bureaucracy, crime, and declining quality of life. Jobs and investment leave with them, creating a vicious cycle that's hard to reverse.
People moved out of your state, California?
Oh, I know. No,
Under
no.
Newsom?
Yeah, no. People do move.
A
There's no
million.
doubt about that. People move in America, and you're right.
No, but they're not moving because they want a better view. They like to keep more of their money
yes,
that
that's
they
true.
earn.
Yeah, that's true.
Florida is a really good case study. So when DeSantis became governor, there were 250,000 more registered Democrats in Florida when he became governor 8 years ago. Now there's 1.4 million more registered Republicans in Florida. That's all migration from COVID and re-registration from COVID, 100%.
Right.
So it absolutely is happening.
Across the country, the pattern is clear. From Chicago to San Francisco, blue cities once seen as engines of opportunity are now struggling. High taxes, bureaucracy, failing schools, and rising crime are pushing people out. When leadership prioritizes ideology over practical solutions, cities suffer and voters notice. If Democrats want to reverse this trend, they must cut red tape, focus on results, and improve daily life. Otherwise, the exodus will continue. With that, we wrap up today's video. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.